This is From Justin to Kane, a podcast where Mike Robertson and Bob LaRue watch one critically acclaimed film and one terrible film and talk about how they are the same. Welcome back, everybody, to From Justin to Kane.
Hey,
I'm Bob.
I'm Mike.
We're still apart, sadly, for obvious reasons. We're still apart.
Yes,
but I can see Mike's beautiful face in 2D on my laptop, which is super nice.
And I can see Bob's on my laptop. It's truly what a time to be alive.
Is your laptop 3D? Is my face in 3D or 2D?
I have a 3D laptop. Yeah, one of the few 3D laptops. I have one.
You seem like a 3D laptop kind of guy.
Oh yeah, I'm a real tech head. I love tech.
Yeah, you do.
So here's the newest episode recorded during the coronavirus quarantine of From Justin to Kane.
Well said, Mike. That was really, really articulate. That was beautiful.
Yeah, trying something out. Trying out a podcast character.
Ooh, nice. You're gonna wait till episode 15 to unveil a character?
Yeah.
Nice. Or whatever episode it is. I have no fucking clue. But this one's a doozy, folks. These two movies are a doozy, I think.
Yes.
Mike, what are they?
Well, today we're going to be talking about Francis Ford Coppola's 1972 Academy Award-winning masterpiece, The Godfather.
Yes.
Number 2 on the AFI list of best movies. Generally.
Oh, it is number 2.
We've covered Citizen Kane. We covered Vertigo, and those are usually in the fighting for the top spot. And The Godfather usually also is riding pretty high up there.
How many Oscars did The Godfather win?
4.
Not bad.
And it's usually at the top spot on IMDb as well. Usually battling. I mean, I haven't been on IMDb in a long time. I remember it was always battling with The Shawshank Redemption, inexplicably.
Really?
Yeah, IMDb just thought that was the perfect movie for a good 20-year stretch. I'm not sure.
Oh, you know what? I remember that. It would always say the top 100. Yeah. Shawshank is a good movie.
Sure. Yeah, it's fine.
Real quick, I forgot to shut one window. I feel like birds are getting louder.
I don't mind.
Wait.
We have a special guest, some birds. I assume it's a blue jay of some kind. A little bird fact for you. Bob has left the room.
My apartment is just stinking hot, so it's a bit emotionally. It's not a super positive experience to have all my windows shut because it's so hot in my apartment. But I'm going to do it for the cast, Mike. I'm going to do it for the cast.
Do it for the cast, man. So we didn't even mention what the second movie was because.
Oh yeah. It's the 2008 classic hit comedy, The Love Guru.
That's right. Mike Myers returned to the big screen after the just huge success of the Austin Powers franchise.
Mm-hmm.
And this
it's his last movie, right?
No.
It's his last live action movie.
This is his last live action comedy where he played where he was the center of it. Like he was obviously in the Shrek movies. He was obviously in Bohemian Rhapsody, but he also directed a documentary.
Oh, I guess he was in Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah, he was. So Mike Myers has been around.
I guess he's still getting shit done somehow.
Yeah. This is part 1 in a 3 podcast series where we talk about the Godfather movies. And we compare them with other movies that are bad or good, depending on which Godfather movie we're talking about. Wink, wink.
Yes.
So we won't reveal what the other movies are, largely because we don't know yet.
Yeah, we haven't made that decision.
No.
Nor will we tonight, is my guess.
We haven't drawn them out of the Minions bucket that we have. Like the Minions popcorn bucket where we get all of our suggestions from.
Remember when we used to eat popcorn out of a Minions bucket at a movie theater?
Oh, Mike? Man, those were the days.
I wake up longing for that.
They're reopening movie theaters now.
Seems like a pretty bad idea. Not to get political, but
no, get political. Now's the time to get political. There's people in the streets, Rage Against the Machine, etc.
Mm-hmm. It just seems profoundly short-sighted to open like what is like. I truly believe that movie theaters are like a cesspool of bacteria more so than most retail businesses. Like I think a clothing store is cleaner than a movie theater. You know what I mean? It's just hand to mouth.
You want to hear a story of when I worked at a movie theater?
I would love nothing more.
Okay, well, I used to work at a movie theater.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this was in the late 90s, early 2000s. I worked at a movie theater, and those were the days of everything was on film. Mm-hmm. So I cut my finger on a James Bond movie, hauling it up to the projection room. I got a paper cut, but like for a film, whatever that
is. Pierce Brosnan or Daniel Craig?
No, it is Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah.
Like, I'm aging myself, but
well, that's why I asked. I outed you. Yeah, sorry, Mike.
I think it wasn't Tomorrow Never Dies. It was the one right after that. The World Is Not Enough.
His last one, right?
No, it was the one before that.
Oh,
The World Is Not Enough, I think, was the third one. Anyway, we're not doing the Bond cast. We're doing, I'm telling a story, and I'm taking a really long way to get there.
As a sidebar, though, I think we should do some James Bond situation. Maybe it's counterintuitive to the whole premise of this podcast, but it would be cool to do like a Roger Moore James Bond film, and then something like Skyfall. You know, just like and maybe the thing would be to find the differences instead of the similarities.
Oh, interesting.
That might be a fun way to invert the cast.
Yeah, that's a good thought. That's a good thought.
Yeah, like do a season of inversions or something. I don't know, and like remakes and stuff, and be like, what's different about them? That might be
interesting.
Kind of fun.
I mean, we could do a James Bond cast if you want. Yeah.
If you cut your finger on on a tin or on the actual celluloid?
On the actual celluloid.
The celluloid cut you?
Yeah, I don't know how it happened. Just when I was moving it and I was stringing it up, I had to help them string it up into the projector. I wouldn't remember how to do that now, but it was a skill that I briefly learned.
That's pretty cool. That's truly a dead art form.
Oh, 100%.
I remember watching this really sad 8-minute documentary about the last projectionist in this franchise in the United States, and he was this really old, experienced guy who, would splice everything together and blah blah blah. And he was a real expert, and he was so sad. He was stringing up like his last movie. It was something in like 2010 or 11, and he was pretty heartbroken.
That's sad.
Yeah, was that your experience, Mike?
No, because film sustained itself for a good decade after that until. It fully went away, and now it's exciting to see a movie on film. Yeah. Although the last couple movies I saw on film were unpleasant experiences because the prints were so bad. I saw the birds, and the audio was so high-pitched and terrible, just generally. Yeah. And then when the birds came in and were squealing, it was just like, it was hard to listen to. But I guess it added to the horror of the thing. It felt like birds were just pecking at your brain, so...
But was that the goal of Alfred Hitchcock, was to have it sound like that?
Maybe.
I doubt it. I don't know. Anywho, this isn't about Alfred Hitchcock. This is about Mike Myers and Francis Ford Coppola.
But I'm not done in my story. I didn't even tell my story yet.
Oh,
I just went on 3 tangents. So 2 examples. Number 1, I would sell popcorn. I worked the concession. At the end of the night, every once in a while, not like every night, they'd be like, you got to clean the hole. And then so the hole was basically a hole in the ground that had where all the kind of pipes went down.
Yeah.
That connected to various things, like maybe the pop machine or whatever. And I had to clean the hole, basically put on a glove, go down there and just grab all the popcorn that had fallen down there and gotten soggy. So I just have to pull out this blackened, disgusting popcorn.
Oh, no.
It smelled so terrible. Bad.
I bet.
Another cesspool of filth story from that theater. When the movie Stuart Little was showing.
Which one? The first one?
Yeah, the first one.
Again, I keep outing you. I apologize.
No, that's fine. Continue. The first movie was written by M. Night Shyamalan, fun fact.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's fun.
Fun fact, yeah.
Post Sixth Sense.
Was it?
I believe so.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Weird. It's like George Miller making Babe in the Big City after the Mad Max trilogy. Anyways, continue.
M. Night didn't direct it, but so yeah, Stuart Little was showing, And for whatever reason, the theater had like a pet mouse that was up in the. They just had like a pet mouse in a cage. Apparently, the mouse went missing, coincidentally, during Stuart Little, and then we found its dead corpse.
Whoa!
And it was a weird
same
omen.
Night or later?
What do you mean?
Like when in the timeline? When did you find the carcass?
Oh, just during the couple of weeks that Stuart Little was showing.
Right.
So
right.
Yeah.
I guess that theater's not big enough for 2 mice.
No. The mouse saw it and was like, I can't drive a car, and was like, there's no reason to live.
Has motor envy.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
So that's a tangent. That's a massive tangent.
You are just justifying what I'm saying in that movie theaters are filthy.
Oh yeah.
By design, they're filthy. Like you walk on the floor and your shoes stick with every step. There's not a single item of food except for frozen yogurt that you can eat with a utensil. Mm-hmm. Everything else is finger food.
That's true.
Popcorn, hot dogs, pizza, hamburgers, chicken bites, you name it.
Also, people eating popcorn, just like putting it into their face. You know, when people eat popcorn, they just have a handful and they just smash it into their face, and they try and get as much as into their mouth as they can. That happens.
I've done that.
I had to clean all that up, all that space popcorn.
Well, that's just it. It's like profoundly unhygienic for the employee who has to sweep, you know, because so much of it, now I'm just getting in the weeds of bacteria, but a lot of that popcorn entered the mouth and fell out of the mouth.
Yeah.
And think about it. They don't scrub down every seat. So like mouth popcorn touches a seat. And then in the next sitting, you're there and you sit on it. And you know, put your jacket or whatever on the thing. It's just gross. I think movie theaters are filthy.
And you never know who's farting into the seats, and how the farts are getting trapped. And
I just read a recent paper that COVID can be transmitted by fart.
Really?
So no, that's not true. That's not true. Just a disclaimer. Oh God.
Yeah. Also, when I was cleaning up those movie theaters, they only had like 2 or 3 CDs for whatever reason. So the Tarzan soundtrack just drove me nuts because I listened to it every week.
You don't like Phil Collins?
Phil Collins is fine, but that soundtrack is, you know, whatever. Well, I mean, you got Trash in the Camp. Zoobadop, zoobadoop, zoobadop, doobadee-da-doo. You know that song?
Yeah.
Like you got to listen to that while you're just sweeping up some kid's barf.
Oh yeah. That sounds like a great gig.
Sure. Yeah.
Good for you, Mike.
I do remember, this is just turning into me talking about movie theater experiences, but movie theaters don't exist right now. So
no, they don't. This is very nostalgic. People want this.
The Scorsese movie, Bringing Out the Dead, the film, for whatever reason, would just like go out of sync. So at a certain time of the night, you had to go to the projector room and adjust it. But it was always right before the ambulance went off the ramp and then smashed into like the light pole, and it was like the coolest part of the movie. Yeah. So I saw that same chunk of the film, and only that chunk of the film, for like a good 2 or 3 weeks while it was playing. Just having to just at the same time every day go up, watch the part where the ambulance smashed, and then adjust the thing. And yeah, it's just a weird experience, I guess, when you're working at those things.
Huh. Interesting. Was it like 2 to 3 weeks was the average runtime of a film in that theater? And they did, even if it was like a tentpole movie or whatever. Yeah, they had a lot. I mean, they would last longer if it was like episode 1 that came out. That was like a longer running thing. But yeah, surprisingly, a lot of like 99 was a great time for movies. That was a great year for movies. Mm-hmm. And I remember working there while a lot of those movies were there. Bringing Out the Dead, Fight Club, Toy Story 2, Bowfinger. That comes to mind. Nice.
South Park. Blast from the Past.
Name 10 more.
Office Space.
Okay, wow.
What else was there? American Beauty. I remember seeing that. Like watching that on screen while I was working there.
Nice.
Pleasantville.
Oh yeah, Tobey Maguire.
Mumford? Is there a town? I think there's a movie called Mumford, maybe.
Oh, okay.
I might be getting it wrong. That wasn't a very good movie. What else was there? What else? It doesn't matter.
No, that was great. Wow, you rattled off a lot of movies. Nice.
Yeah, there's The Sixth Sense, of course. 99.
Oh, you know what? Was Stuart Little before The Sixth Sense? I thought The Sixth Sense was like 96.
The Sixth Sense was 99.
Oh, shit. What do I know?
Oh, yeah, and The Matrix, of course.
Oh, yeah, that was a big one.
Yeah, what a time to be alive.
Nice. I was alive in 99.
Oh, yeah?
Barely. I wasn't thinking yet, but I was alive.
You weren't a full cinephile.
No, but I soon would be.
Yeah, the only cinephilia you were into was Sesame Street, I guess?
No, I never watched that as a kid, oddly enough.
Oh.
Berenstain Bears. Big Berenstain Bears fan.
Wow.
TV show and the books.
Are you Team Berenstein or Team Berenstein?
Berenstein.
Yeah, you would be.
Yeah. What's that supposed to mean?
I don't know. Anyway, let's get back to the cast. We went on a huge tangent.
Good.
Also,
the fans want to hear about us, Mike.
They want to hear our banter. They love the banter. One more thing about movie theaters, actually.
Oh, yeah.
You hear Jurassic Park, because of the weird how movie theaters are closed now. Whatever's happening at drive-in movie theaters is kind of guiding the movie box office right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So Jurassic Park and Jaws are the two biggest movies of summer 2020.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Jaws is like 40 years old now.
Oh, I know.
And yeah. And so that means Spielberg just had 2 more home runs again.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah.
Films that he made decades prior. That's so weird.
Yeah. Isn't that weird, though? They're I think they're the top 2 movies this week.
I think drive-ins are a great idea, though.
Yeah. Too bad we don't have them here.
I think it's nifty. Yeah. What's the closest one to us is probably Calgary or something.
Maybe. Yeah. There's one in BC. I know I've been to.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, let's get should we get into it?
So the other film, let's get into it. We already described it. It's The Love Guru, Mike Myers' magnum opus, if you will.
Yes, I will.
Great. Should I give a little background on that film, and then you can do a little background on The Godfather?
Yeah.
All right. So here's some factoids about The Love Guru. So it came out in 2008. There's a character named Jacques Lecoq, who that name is based off of an actual actor and mime from the 1940s, 50s, and 60s. He was a French mime and choreographer, an actor.
He's Canadian?
No, he's French.
Oh.
Yeah, so I'm sure the enunciation's different, but it's spelled the same way as Justin Timberlake's character in the film. Mike Myers and Vern Troyer are both in the movie, and they work together in the Austin Powers trilogy. The film's about the Maple Leafs having a losing streak, and they can't seem to win because their star player is trying to get his ex-wife back, and he's in this real mojo, and his like arch nemesis is sleeping with his ex-wife, and so they hire the Love Guru, played by Mike Myers, to help him rectify that relationship. But it turns out the Maple Leafs have the longest Stanley Cup drought of any team in the NHL.
In real life? You mean in real life?
In real life, yeah. That's 67 was the last year they fought for the cup in the championship. Since then, they've never been to the championship.
Wow, that's kind of embarrassing.
The film was directed by a guy named Marco Schnabel, who I know nothing about, but he was a consultant and producer on the... Oh, drop my pen. Consultant and producer on the Austin Powers movies. The internet didn't have a lot of things to say about him, so...
Yeah, he doesn't have a lot of credits.
No, and I think it's his only directorial feature film.
That's wild.
Yeah. The film stars Mike Myers, Jessica Alba, Justin Timberlake, Ben Kingsley, Romany Malco, and Deepak Chopra.
That's right.
When they're greeting and like when the characters are greeting each other in the film, they say Mariska Hargitay, who is an actor on Law and Order. She's very successful, and turns out her mom is Jane Mansfield. What? The famous actress from the 50s. Yeah, wow. Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
Isn't that nuts? That's like a fact within a fact, but I just thought that was really cool.
That's a super fun fact.
Do you want to know what Razzies The Love Guru won?
Yes.
It won Worst Picture, Worst Actor, and Worst Screenplay.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was nominated for 7 other awards and lost to something else. I don't know what.
Any Academy Awards?
No. There's Academy Award winners in the film, but
inexplicably.
No, yeah, somehow I can't believe Ben Kingsley in the Ellen interview I watched, Ellen was asking, does Ben Kingsley like to laugh? Does he like to have a good time? And Mike Myers was like, he loves to laugh. He loves to have a good time.
He seemed like he was having a lot of fun.
I think he was. It's astonishing he did the film just because tonally it's so problematic and it's, just a weird film.
Yeah.
Overtly racist film. And Ben Kingsley was like, this is great. I want to be in this thing.
It reminds me of when Sir Ian McKellen was having a lot of fun in Cats.
Like when he was drinking milk.
Yeah, he was like, meow, meow, and he was having just a great time doing the movie.
And there's a point in which you get so old, I feel like, and you've had so much success, you just want to riff. You just want to have a good time. Yeah, and not really care about the actual product.
This was 25 years or slightly more than 25 years after Ben Kingsley, had like his kind of peak in the 80s with Gandhi.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this was his kind of coming home movie where he got to take what he brought to Gandhi and I guess piss all over it.
No, he did piss all over it, and then he slapped it around with a piss-covered mop.
Yeah, exactly.
And lastly, so I watched this Ellen interview, and Mike Myers was describing that he's been playing the Love Guru since 1995. It's a character he was doing as a kid and with his friends, and then he did it as a stage show, a one-man show, and ended up, I believe he did it on SNL.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember that, but it's worth looking into, I guess.
Yeah, but he did it as a one-man show, and he's been doing the character basically his whole adult life.
Well, you can look into old videos that are on YouTube of Mike Myers doing Wayne from Wayne's World. You can watch him doing it as like a teenager.
Really?
Like it was an old character he used to do for like local TV station.
Oh, really?
He would go to concerts and interview people as Wayne Campbell.
Right.
Yeah, so it was kind of a Canadian stereotype, I guess, that he was playing, that they later transposed to Chicago. But there's a little fun fact for you. Yeah, so I guess he did the same with Maurice Pitka, the Love Guru.
Yes.
Which not as engaging or interesting of a character, I would say, but that's neither here nor there.
No, I think Wayne's World rocks, and Love Guru has some room for improvement.
Yeah, Wayne's World 1 is good, but Wayne's World 2, not as good.
Definitely. But yeah, that's basically the background of the film. Oh, this is a really farty motorbike outside. Oh, so annoying. Anyways, yeah, that's the background and context of the movie. It is a comedy.
Uh-huh.
I don't think I laughed a single time. It's weird watching a film like that in 2020, I gotta say.
I think I laughed a few times, but also this is my 4th time seeing it, maybe 5th time. So I've seen The Love Guru quite a few times.
Okay.
Actually, probably more than I've seen The Godfather, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah. I'm a cinephile, but I've seen The Love Guru, I think 5 or 6 times.
Well, I saw it in theaters when it came out. Like I loved, when the film came out, I loved it.
The Love Guru.
Yeah, like when I was a kid, because, oh my God, I was like 12 or something at the time, 13. And I just thought it was a masterpiece. I thought it was so funny. My sister and I, we loved 2 films growing up. The Love Guru and Master of Disguise.
Wow.
And as you get older, you look back on those films and they don't hold up. Kind of interesting.
We got to do Master of Disguise on the cast.
I think we do, yeah.
So yeah, all of your research came from a single Ellen interview, is that right?
No, there's some IMDb and some Wikipedia in there too. But the Ellen interview was really informative.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I looked up Mariska Hargitay and then found out her mom was Jane Mansfield and, yeah. Any
knowledge to be gained about how the film did after it came out? Because it was like Mike Myers everybody's expecting a home run. Supposedly when the script was being floated around, everybody thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, it wasn't a home run, but it did make its money back.
It did?
Yeah, it wasn't. I think they made it for, the numbers were roughly like, it cost them $40 million to make, and they made like 42. So they made the money back, but it wasn't like a knockout. Like Austin Powers made a ton of money, and this didn't.
Well, Austin Powers, made so much money. All three of them. Everyone was bigger than the other one. Actually, another 99 film, Austin Powers 2. Just remember that.
Oh, yeah.
But also, it was like a zeitgeist shifter. Like Austin Powers was so big. Everybody loved quoting it. Whenever a new movie came out, it just felt like it was, I mean, maybe for me because I was a teen, but it just felt like, this is the biggest thing in pop culture right now. We got to really pay attention to it. Even if it's just get in my belly. Like that's what I'm talking about.
Fat bastard.
That's the paradigm shift of comedy.
Definitely. I mean, even, I'm a different generation, but growing up, the film was it was still really relevant.
Yeah.
And even, it is now. Like, I remember we were warming up for a show, and all the improvisers were in a circle, and they were just riffing on Austin Powers.
Oh,
bits.
yeah, right.
So it's still, people love it. It's still in the zeitgeist, I think. It's still current.
I watched some of the Austin Powers movies not too long ago.
Oh, yeah.
And I got to say, doing that exercise where we just reiterated the jokes from Austin Powers was funnier than watching the movie do the jokes, if that makes sense. Like Austin Powers, every bit is so well honed and just like a fine diamond of comedy.
Yeah.
But doesn't mean it ages well.
Yeah.
But when it's fun to, say, no, I didn't. Or, whatever other things that they say.
Yeah.
Mini me. Do an Austin Powers impression. Go.
I'm trying to think of something, and I literally can't. I was freezing up when we were doing the warm up, when everyone was riffing, and I just
Foxy
couldn't.
Cleopatra.
What?
Beyonce.
Oh, Beyonce in the third. She's in Goldmember, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
No, do Goldmember. Do Goldmember.
What does he sound? I haven't seen the movies in years.
Faja? He says Faja.
Oh, that's right. Oh, and then he eats his own skin, right? His own skin, dead skin, and he nibbles it.
I have an accent. Yeah. Isn't that weird?
When I was a kid, I didn't understand the name Goldmember.
Is a wiener.
Exactly. It took me a long time to realize that. I think my sister told that to me when I was like 15 or 16. And I was astonished.
Were you going to ask which is the best Austin Powers film?
I was.
I think the third one is the best.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people, for whatever reason, think the second one is, but I think they're wrong.
Everyone I talk to says the second one.
Yeah, the first one is like sets all the jokes up. The second one basically just repeats them.
Yeah.
And then the third one
does a great job.
The third one does a couple of good twists on those jokes.
Yeah. It's the only franchise, maybe Naked Gun does this too, but they use the same bit, the same framework, and they just try to enhance it and recontextualize it. And that's really, that's cool. I feel like that's hard to do and actually pull off. It's like refining stand-up.
It's too bad we're not comparing the Austin Powers films to the Godfather films. I think like there might be something
because then it's a trilogy.
Because it's a trilogy, comparing trilogy to trilogy. But instead we chose The Love Guru, and here we are, so there's no going back.
I mean, I feel like we can just remember the 3 Austin Powers movies and just start now.
Yeah.
We should have done 2 trilogies.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well.
Shit.
I've got some fun ideas for the other 2 movies.
Oh, you do?
Oh, yeah, but I want to spoil them here.
Nice. Okay, cool.
Let me get into the Godfather a little bit, because this podcast is a real chunky one. Not bad, though.
Long-winded.
If you're willing to watch The Godfather and The Love Guru to listen to this episode, which I assume not one person is going to do.
No, that's asking a lot.
That is asking a lot. But if you are, for whatever reason, going to do that, then you won't mind listening to a friggin' 3-hour-long episode of this podcast.
Yeah, a chunky mother effer of an episode.
Yeah. So, The Godfather. It's a movie. Came out in 1972, inspired by the 1969 novel by Mario Puzo.
Mm-hmm.
It was the highest grossing film of 1972. Really goes to show what movies were like back then. The 70s was a much different time.
Yes.
Cinema, or American cinema, was like, it was so different in terms of what was a big movie back then. So the story of the movie spans 10 years, 1945 to 1955, and chronicles the Corleone family's transformation as the torch is passed from Vito to Michael. Vito is played by Marlon Brando. Michael is played by a young, boyish Al Pacino.
Can I interrupt for a moment?
Go for it.
What happened to Al Pacino's voice? Because I just watched Scent of a Woman.
Yeah.
And he's just got this low, gravelly voice. And he's just like, oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
But then in The Godfather, he has like a high-pitched, whiny voice.
Yeah.
What happened?
I think he won an Oscar for Scent of a Woman, and that's what changed him. Because I think he made Scent of a Woman and was just trying something on.
Right.
Or maybe because if you watch his movies, I'm not a big Pacino head.
Yeah.
I'm not a
nor
big Pacino stan, but he it shifts his acting shifts for sure. It goes from very subtle in the 70s to wildly like cartoonish in the 90s to whatever the hell is going on now, which is like, I guess, an extension of the cartoonishness of the 90s. Because
have you seen him in Hunters, the Nazi killing hunting show? It's interesting.
Is it a good show?
I really enjoyed it. Yeah, there's some like writing hiccups, I think, but the concept is so cool, and the way they end the first season is a total mind fuck.
Does he talk like this or whatever he says? You know,
he has.
Does he do that kind of character?
No, he doesn't do that. So it's kind of interesting. It feels like a departure from 90s Pacino, but like Pacino and Dog Day Afternoon, in my mind, that is his best performance that he's ever given.
Interesting.
And it's nothing like Scent of a Woman or even The Godfather.
Well, if you watch Scent of a Woman, you watch Heat, you watch The Devil's Advocate, you watch Jack and Jill, there's like a real trajectory there where his career is just kind of just slowly warps.
Yeah.
And even in The Godfather, this movie, there is a moment near the end, like it's a really good. They really restrain the Michael Corleone character up until the very end when he like freaks out. I can't remember who he yells at. He yells at somebody, and it's like iconic Pacino the iconic modern Pacino voice. Where he's,
right.
He just has a gravelly yell, and the intensity's there, and so I think that's what just that moment coming only once in the film, signifies the change the character has, but then also really shows what intensity he's capable of and will kind of, and just also the one note he will hit for the rest of his career. I guess.
But it's working, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I love
it. Just blew
Jack
my
and Jill.
mind. I have never seen it. I got to watch it.
It's a terrible, terrible film. We should definitely cover it on this, but Al Pacino, I will go to bat for Jack and Jill, if only because of how Al Pacino is represented. He plays himself and he falls in love with Adam Sandler dressed as a woman.
Jack and Jill, the Adam Sandler movie.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I mean, the movie itself is just god awful, but just the Al Pacino parts. He does a Dunkin' Donuts commercial as Al Pacino. He's just a weirdo. It's great. Yeah, Al Pacino.
He's like Ben Kingsley in The Love Guru. He's just having a good time.
He's having a good time.
I've had my home runs,
Yeah.
Now I just want to party and eat spits in the dugout.
Exactly.
With my homies.
Nice metaphor.
Thank you.
Let's go back to the facts about The Godfather. So where was I? Oh yeah. So this movie revitalized Marlon Brando's career, which was in decline in the 60s. It won the Oscar for Best Picture, Best Actor for Marlon Brando, and Best Adapted Screenplay. It may have won another one. I can't remember. It may have been Best Director. I didn't write it down. It's often deemed the second greatest film in American cinema behind Citizen Kane. AFI speak in there. And the book of The Godfather was at one point the best-selling published work in history. For like a span of 5 or 6 years, supposedly.
I find that hard to believe.
Well,
Good for Mario Puzo.
Yeah, I know. He was truly Super Mario during those times. He was collecting the coins. Ding, 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 ding. He just punched the book and coins would pop out.
He was making that money, that's for sure.
Yeah. They optioned they optioned the book to make the movie. And originally Puzo was not going to do it, but he was too poor from gambling, so he took it. And then... So yeah, just imagine this guy had the best selling book in like history of all time. Yeah, for a period. Like the Bible exists, or other books that you can buy at a bookstore that are a little bit more well known than The Godfather, and still, dude had gambling debts. So they made the movie. They got Francis Ford Coppola on board because they wanted an Italian American to make it, because they were worried that people would think it was racist, I guess.
Right. Well, they had the same concern with The Love Guru, which is why they hired Mike Myers.
Yes, right.
Because he's of Indian descent.
Is he actually?
No, of course not. I'm just doing
I was like, wow, that's a fun
I'm just
fact.
riffing on how racist The Love Guru is. Anyways, continue.
Ben Kingsley is.
He is, yeah.
He's half Indian, so he signed off on, I guess, the racism.
So it's Ben Kingsley's fault?
I don't want to say it's his fault, but it is his fault. So let's just point the fingers where they need to be pointed. Let's point the piss mop where it needs to be pointed.
Fuck.
Here's a couple of fun facts for you. Here's a real speed round of fun facts. So the movie was supposed to be directed by Sergio Leone, but he didn't direct it. Peter Bogdanovich didn't direct it. Was gonna, though.
Right.
Otto Preminger.
Really?
And Peter Yates was supposed to as well.
Wow.
As well, this is wild. This little fact here, the part of Vito Corleone, played by Marlon Brando, was going to go to George C. Scott or our boy Orson Welles.
Really?
But they really, really wanted Ernest Borgnine, of all people, to play Vito, and he was going to be Vito up until they got Brando on board, which is insane to think
Ernest
about.
Borgnine.
Yeah.
Oh
Ernest
my
Borgnine.
God. He's such a great actor, but such a terrible person to cast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think Ernest Borgnine really hit the sweet spot in the 50s when he can make like low budget character pieces about, just, you just can't fit. Like, imagine Ernest Borgnine as Batman, or like imagine Ernest Borgnine in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. It just doesn't work. He just doesn't fit in anything.
No.
Imagine his voice as Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Look,
I'm your father.
I'm gonna watch an Ernest Borgnine movie. This
episode has got a lot of impressions in it.
Yeah, yeah, and they're just gonna keep on coming.
Okay, I got a couple more fun facts for you.
Yeah,
George Lucas is in some ways responsible for this film, and I'll tell you why. Because they made THX 1138, and it did not do well. But it was produced by American Zoetrope, Coppola's company. So he had some debt to Paramount, and so he took the job kind of because of debt. So both him and Puzo had something in common. They basically had a couple of offers that they couldn't refuse.
Right. Same thing with Mike Myers. He had crippling gambling debt.
Really?
And that's why I made Mike. No, that's not true. I'm just riffing. Sorry. I'm just really hopping on this. I'm glad you're buying it.
I'm definitely buying it. I'm fooled easily.
I get a sense that Mike Myers is good with money.
Yeah. He seems it.
He's got them royalty checks.
He's got has so much money right now. Shrek and Austin Powers, that 1-2 punch.
The double trilogy, yeah. And he's the main character of both. I mean, he really had a home run.
Yeah.
Also, is Mike Myers, I'm sorry, I really keep fucking up your whole spiel here.
Oh, that's fine.
But is Mike Myers the first person we've covered twice on this series?
What was the other one we did with Mike Myers?
Shrek.
Oh, Shrek, right. Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, he honestly might be. Interesting.
Yeah, wow. Yeah,
that wasn't me farting. That was the chair I'm sitting in.
Yeah, right.
Just for the audio record, okay? I didn't fart.
Yeah, maybe. Might be.
Anyway, sorry, continue with your fun
where was
facts.
I? Oh, yeah. So I have this book called the Godfather Notebook. Everybody should check it out if you're a real hardcore cinephile. Basically, when Francis Ford Coppola was making this movie, he took the book and he made like a prompt book similar to how you would make in the theater, where you put the page from the script on one page and then you put all of your notes on the other page. And he did this for the entire thing. And it's like, 600 pages long. Fascinating book to look through and just see the thought process he went through page by page on adapting the book.
Did you see that? Did you see that 90s video where he's sitting on the couch and he has the book flipped open and he's going through it?
Yeah, well, I mean, cool. I saw that when it was on the Godfather DVD, originally released probably around early 2000s.
Right.
Before the Coppola restorations, they released it on DVD because DVD was a new format back then. Mm-hmm. But fascinating. But I learned this fact from there. He was looking in the paper. He saw an ad for the book of The Godfather. That same day, he had a phone call from Marlon Brando for another project. And the producers stopped by his house to say hello. But it was not regarding The Godfather. Like, nobody knew he was going to produce it. So those three things all kind of coalesced in one day.
Really?
Yeah, eventually the producers of The Godfather signed on to make it, as did Brando. And then Francis Ford Coppola signed on to make a movie of the book. So pretty wild. A bit of synchronicity, or whatever that other word is.
Fortuitousness?
Yeah. Serendipity, yeah. I was trying to think of the rom-com. Anyway.
It's like Francis Ford Coppola had a meet cute.
Yeah, he did.
3 separate things. He had a meet cute with Marlon Brando, a meet cute with the producers, and a meet cute with the idea of the book.
Yes, it's true. Just one or two more fun facts. Gordon Willis, the cinematographer, wanted to use some much simpler ways of shooting the film. Didn't want to use a lot of like camera theatrics, and wanted to kind of focus on a more tableau format, making everything seem really painterly, mostly in terms of how it was lit, like with the emphasis on darks, which I think really worked in its favor. And here is a literal fun fact. This is very fun. They had a dinner party where everybody came in character during the rehearsal process. So they had like a big murder mystery style dinner where everybody was just playing these characters.
Really?
That's pretty fun.
That's super cool.
It's really
that
cute.
Sounds like
it's
70s Hollywood.
Fact.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Yeah.
I feel like Francis Ford Coppola is really into that.
Oh, yeah. He's
like when he made the Outsiders, he put all I forget, like the Sochas and the greasers or whatever.
Yeah.
He put them in different hotels, and the hotel for like the rich kids was a really nice hotel, and then it was a shithole, and kids had to share rooms for the greasers.
Nice.
Yeah, he's really into like amping it up in pre-production just to get character going.
He's a bit of a method director.
He is.
Anyway, those are some fun facts about the old Godfather.
That's awesome.
Part one.
2 more to come.
2 more to come.
That's awesome, Mike. Nice.
Yeah, not bad.
Sweet. Well, I guess I'll admit to the public and our many, many, many listeners that while watching The Godfather, I fell asleep. So my list is it's there, it exists, but it's not as lengthy as Mike's. So
that's
you might notice.
Usually is, though.
That's true. That's true. I just want to fess up because I'm riddled with guilt.
Don't worry about it.
But you might notice a disparity in our notes in terms of amounts. But anyways, yeah. Do you want to get into it?
Let's get into it.
Cool.
The music.
Oh, yeah. I was like, what are you doing? Great. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's get into it.
So how are The Godfather and The Love Guru the same?
In many ways.
The question film fans have been asking for literally 12 years.
Well, I'll start us off, okay? Both films have a central romance that has many missteps. So you have Mike Myers and Jessica Alba, many missteps, and then it ends up happening. And then you have Michael Corleone and Diane Keaton, but then he marries that Italian lady in Sicily. Then she dies by the car blowing up, and then he ends up going back to New York and ends up marrying or being with Diane Keaton.
Right.
So both films have like a central romance that is entwined with the business that they're dealing with.
Dare I say Mike Myers and Jessica Alba are, first of all, not a romantic couple I would ever put together.
I second that. Yeah.
And then also, they had no chemistry.
No, they didn't. Also, Jessica Alba is not is she a comedic actor?
No, I wouldn't say she
I didn't
is.
think she was. I thought she was because she was in the Fantastic Four and
she was famous
did,
for Dark Angel or whatever it was called.
Right. She did more like tentpole stuff and more dramatic stuff. So it was weird to see her in a comedy, and she was really flat. She was really not good.
Yeah, that's a good starting point.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I found these movies were extremely similar.
Really?
Yes. I mean, I can rattle off a couple of connected ones.
Please do.
It's about immigrants to America.
Yes.
And also ones that kind of deal with cultural insensitivity and stereotypes.
Yes.
So those are like two very
Can I
similar
add on
things.
to that?
Go right ahead.
Both films cast actors playing ethnicities that they aren't.
Like who?
Like in, I believe a big chunk of the Corleone family are non-Italian actors.
Yeah, Robert Duvall,
Italians.
they really wanted to get him to play, but he wasn't actually a member of the group. He was,
I guess he was like more like an adoptive son.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure, well, Marlon Brando's not Italian.
I don't think he is.
No, I thought the list was a little longer, but I'm pretty sure a lot of the actors in the family are not Italian.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's fairly true. I would say for the most part, I think they wanted Francis Ford Coppola to direct it at least because he was Italian, and I think they really wanted to maintain that kind of Italianness, making sure that it was Italian.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
But
cool.
because I did read that the Italian American Civil Rights League complained because the book emphasized negative Italian stereotypes, i.e., the mafia.
Yes.
So they wanted to maintain that, but eventually they gave the support to the movie. So
well, apparently there was like an altercation with somebody who was in the mob with the studio, and he tried to shut down the production.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I can't remember the guy's name, but he was vehemently opposed and tried really on several occasions to try to shut down the production. Because he was, it was like, it painted Italians in a bad light. And it also was just bringing into the forefront of, I think, like the cultural zeitgeist that there are crime families, and he didn't want that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's kind of interesting.
Was there anything about the Love Guru that where like a Italian Civil Rights League-esque thing, but for Indians? Did they complain about the movie?
They did. I'm trying to remember. I was reading on Wikipedia. Yeah, there was like there was a Buddhist group that was against the film. Well, there were multiple groups, and some were for and some were against. Some would claim like, well, this is a depiction of Indian culture at all, and that's better than nothing for a North American Hollywood film. So like, let's take it, and at least that'll kind of bring Buddhism and also bring Indian culture into the conversation. But then other groups are like totally opposed, and they when the film came out, like nobody tried to stop the production, but when the film came out, there were some pretty harsh reviews.
Yeah, I did read that
and critiques,
that the studio didn't show the group. I can't remember what the group was called, but
I can't remember either.
They didn't show the group the movie, even though they asked for it. And then the movie came out, and then they were like, it's fine, I guess.
Yeah.
But reluctantly.
All in all, like pretty lukewarm on the positive and the negative side of people's opinions.
I mean, it does seem to more than anything celebrate Indian culture than making fun of it. There's not really a whole lot of jokes at the expense of any of that. Not to say that I am coming out in support of what the movie represents, but
sounds like you are, Mike.
It does seem like it celebrates it. However, I do think it is ultimately a negative portrayal because it still is cartoonish.
Well, that's just it. It's really cartoonish, and I think like the pea mop thing is unnecessary, and all the flashbacks to India just feel so stupid and insensitive.
It is interesting that also he's playing a American person who was raised in India, who comes back to America. So he goes to India, kind of gets the culture, and then comes back. he kind of has a little bit of like a slight accent to his voice, but not enough to be offensive. Or not enough to be extremely offensive, I guess.
He walks a really fine line.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
So the similarity there, I guess, in terms of people who are not quite the one ethnicity representing.
Well, that's one of the similarities on my pretty short list here. So don't take that away from me, Mike.
No, I'm just.
But yeah,
I
was going to say, like, they cast both films do this. They kind of like cast people to like portray a culture and an ethnicity that they're not.
Yeah. Nice. What else do you got?
Both films involve a big thing in bed.
Go on.
So Jacques Lecoq has a massive penis, according to the film. And that's a big thing. And he's obviously having sex with his girlfriend in the film with his notoriously large penis. And in the Godfather, there's that scene when that movie producer wakes up and there's a horse head in his bed. Both large things in beds.
Nice.
Yeah, pretty superficial, but I thought that was a funny one. Large penis and a horse head.
On the horse head thing, animal cruelty happens in the movie.
In both films.
Like in in The Godfather, they actually used a horse head.
A real horse head?
A real horse head. It was from, I think it was from Glue Factory, or there was like, the horse was already dead. And it was being used for some other kind of terrible use. But it was not killed to make the movie. It was just, right. But then in the Love Guru, they killed that bird when he goes to Jacques Lecoq's house. The Love Guru rooster. Kills that rooster.
Yeah.
And then later the elephants are forced to procreate on the ice, which I feel like was maybe fun for them or maybe very stressful for them.
Yeah, I would imagine bad. And also just having an elephant like on city streets and stuff. Not a good situation for an elephant to be in.
Yeah.
That's a great one, Mike. Nice.
Thank you.
Nice.
Both films are about a character coming home to fulfill their legacy. Both of these characters both become a prominent figure in like the world that they're in when their parents die.
Yeah.
And that they kind of both look up to a character that starts with a G, who is a prominent person who like guides others. So a godfather or a guru. That being Tuggin Maputa and Vito Corleone. Both played by Oscar winners in a supporting role.
Oh, nice.
So
nice.
Marlon Brando and what's his face? Ben Kingsley are the same. And the main character is also the most resistant student who eventually becomes the greatest teacher at the end, or becomes the whatever they're trying to become.
I did feel like, both films, the central characters had really bizarrely similar arcs.
Yeah. Kind of weird. That's how this podcast works.
But story-wise, I think there's a huge sort of the DNA is really similar in the story that this film is telling, because it's kind of this like reluctant to learn hero that ends up having to change in order to achieve what they want to achieve.
And like you chuckled when I said Tuggin Maputa.
Yeah, it's hard not to. It's also the way you say it. Mike, you're a funny guy.
Guru Tuggin Maputa.
Oh, shit. So both films involve sneaking around. So in The Godfather, there's like assassination scenes and scenes where they're like threatening people and they have to plan ahead so that they can have like, like Al Pacino in the restaurant when he kills those two people, or that like man who is hired to kill someone, but then he ends up going in that restaurant and getting a knife through his hand and then choked. Like, there's just like sneaking around. And then the baptism scene is intercut with like sneaking around and assassinations.
Yeah.
And then in The Love Guru, when Mike Myers' character is trying to get intel on Jacques Lecoq, and then he kills that rooster. He's just sneaking around the house. He's trying to be subtle and trying to infiltrate the house. Both films involve like trying to sneak around to get information or to get a one-up on the other character.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah.
Was that on your list?
No, it definitely wasn't.
Yes.
But
nice.
Also, gotta say, I didn't realize that The Godfather, the title, meant that he was literally the godfather to the child.
Oh my God. Neither
that's
did
what the
I.
title is about. It's not about that he's the god, like some sort of mafia godfather or whatever.
No, he's a literal godfather.
He's literally the godfather. But yeah, I always just thought it was like the title, like Vito Corleone's the godfather. He's like, I'm the godfather or whatever. My impression's
but
terrible.
he's like the god. Oh, it's interesting because I think the Godfather is what it represents about being a gangster and sort of being in that industry and yada, yada, yada. That's so interesting.
He's like the father figure for a bunch of people who are not necessarily his family directly. Maybe.
Yeah. Well, shit.
Kind of like
shit,
there to look at. But then, gotta say, both characters not great examples of the things that they are. So the love guru really struggles to do his job most of the time. And he's also extremely mean to everybody, especially Vern Troyer. Those jokes don't really play. And he's kind of just cruel. Like he sneaks around. He manipulates people. He's
from a writing
real
standpoint,
jerk.
Like in terms of character, I think it's a really poorly written film because Mike Myers wrote himself as an asshole.
Yeah, and the character doesn't make sense as an asshole.
And he never learns to not be one. He just is an asshole, and then he's also trying to pursue this other thing.
Yeah.
And he's an asshole so he can make all these jokes.
Yeah.
And it's really weird.
And I would say that the Godfather, I wouldn't want Michael Corleone to be my Godfather because he seems like he's kind of a dangerous, kind of duplicitous guy. One other thing. Both movies start in Los Angeles and then move east.
Oh, nice. I was gonna, I wrote on my list, both films involve traveling.
So but they both start in Los Angeles, actually. The horse head in the Hollywood guy's bed.
Oh, yeah.
And then, it doesn't start in Los Angeles when they have the wedding, but, let's fudge it a little bit.
Yeah. No, I think that's a great point. And both films involve like going back to like the homeland of said culture. So you have India and then you have Sicily. Yeah. And both films have dynasties that the main character is trying to protect.
Yes.
So obviously Mike Myers is threatened and wants to protect the sort of dynasty he's built to be this like LA love guru. And Michael Corleone needs to protect his family and his family business. Yeah. And he sort of just inherits all this trouble. And he has to like fill these rather large shoes.
And they're battling with like another group or person who kind of represents the same interests. So they're battling with the other families, the five families.
And their competitor does the exact same thing they do.
Yeah. And the love guru is battling with Deepak Chopra, I guess.
Yes.
So very similar films. They're the same. So
yeah, they're weirdly similar.
What else you got?
I was going to say entertainment are in both. Like Los Angeles is represented in both, and the movie industry is represented in both.
Yeah.
Because Mike Myers is like a Hollywood guy. And there's a few cameos of movie stars and stuff. And Kanye West is in the movie briefly.
Yeah.
And then you have like the Hollywood scene with the actor and the horse head in the bed and stuff. So both films like aren't about Hollywood, but they talk about it and they reference it.
Yeah. Very good.
Yeah. Thanks. What do you got?
Both start off with songs, but long renditions of songs. So The Love Guru is a weird film because there'll be very serious kind of straight covers of just popular songs. They do 9 to 5 by Dolly Parton. They do More Than Words by Extreme. There might be another one. They end with something.
Yeah, there's 3.
They end with something. I think it's like, I don't know. It feels like I'm a Believer, but that's Shrek.
I was just going to make a joke and be like, it's I'm a Believer. Yeah. And Donkey sings it.
Yeah, they sing something at the end, but doesn't matter. Just don't email us about it, please. Because who cares?
All those emails we're getting.
But anyway, at the Corleone family wedding, there's some real long ass songs where they're singing full songs. And
that's true.
That crooning guy who comes in and out of the picture every once in a while.
Can I give you a fun fact about that wedding?
Yes.
Francis Ford Coppola's dad scored all of those scenes.
Really?
Yeah. He was a composer for an orchestra, and he like played clarinet or something. And he was a composer on that film. So he composed all the music within the film.
Yeah.
That you see. Yeah. And I believe he did that for all 3 movies.
Nice. Nina Rota did the music generally. The classic score.
like the Godfather theme and stuff.
Yeah.
Yes, but the like wedding scene, like parties, all that stuff was done by Francis Ford Coppola's dad.
Nina Rota of 8.5 fame.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So
there's a little piece of red yarn from one to the other.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Wow. 8.5. What a great movie.
Also, gotta say, I took Indian music class in university, so I learned how to play.
That's right.
I learned how to play the sitar, and Mike Myers was not playing the sitar correctly.
Really?
He was treating it like a guitar, but he was not playing it like it was a sitar. So
yes,
that was
he wasn't
like
playing it like Ravi Shankar would.
No. So right off the top, like incredible disrespect of the culture.
Mm-hmm.
So
and also your suspension of disbelief was shattered.
For mine, it was
yeah, because you were like, "That's not how you play a sitar, you idiot."
Yeah, I know.
Go back to making spy spoof movies.
Jeez, yeah, please.
That's cool. I forgot you played the sitar.
I can't play it anymore, but I played it for a couple of years in university.
Mm-hmm.
Very
That's
fun.
awesome.
It's a fun instrument to play.
I bet it looks really hard.
Yeah. I had a couple, like a good 2 years where I was just hauling a sitar around because I had to walk to school.
Nice.
What a sight to see.
Oh yeah, truly. Did you sell it? Or did you rent it?
I just rented it.
Oh, okay. Because I'm sure they're really expensive.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
Both films are period pieces.
Explain.
So the flashbacks I will say I think 2008 was a very specific period in time in the United States, and that's what they're depicting, and in Canada.
I mean, yeah, I guess it was post Katrina.
Post Katrina, either during or pre housing crash, but just by a small margin. And the flashbacks take place in what I presume to be the 80s, judging by the T-shirt that Mike Myers' superimposed face on a boy's body is wearing.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so they're both period pieces. And then obviously, and they take place like they jump time, as does The Godfather jumps time, because like you said, it takes place over 10 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, they both really play with the idea of time and the idea of legacy. Also, both films have a major part of it is legacy. So like Jessica Alba has a legacy. Her dad was the coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah, she has a family curse, they say.
Exactly. And in a way, I would say the real similarity is that Jessica Alba and Michael Corleone have more in common than the Love Guru does with Michael Corleone. That's my 2 cents, though.
Interesting.
And Vern Troyer is Robert Duvall.
Right.
No, he's what's his name? Sully or the guy, I forget the actor's name. He died really young, but he was in Dog Day Afternoon and in the first Godfather and the second one. Oh,
the guy who's only ever been in Academy Award winning films?
Yeah, he like only had home runs, that guy. Yeah. I'd say Vern Troyer is that guy.
Oh, yeah, interesting.
If you want to like draw parallels, I just think, and then I would say Mike Myers is Robert Duvall. No, Robert Duvall, because he's like really like handsy and pushy and always trying to get shit done, but he's not really thinking before he acts.
Yeah.
I would say that those 3 characters are kind of the other 3 characters.
Yeah, and Vern Troyer and that guy, can't remember his name, but both of them, passed away before their time.
Yes.
Rest in peace, both of them. But then also, both of them, before they died, would go to clubs, including like going to the ranch here in Edmonton and like partying with people for money.
What?
That was a bit of a joke, but Vern Troyer did that. Vern Troyer did that.
He did.
He came to Edmonton to party with people. Yeah, like when they'd have a celebrity. There was a time where they had Paris Hilton come. Stormy Daniels, I think, does it now, where she'll just go to a place and the bar will pay her to hang out there.
Really?
And yeah, she'll get
John Cazale.
Yeah, John Cazale, right? Yeah.
Yeah. He his filmography. Oh my God! So he was in The Godfather, The Conversation, The Godfather Part 2, Dog Day Afternoon, and The Deer Hunter.
Wow.
Yeah, and then he died. Yeah, wow, geez Louise. He was in a little short film and stuff. Anyway, so I just needed to remember his name because he's such a great actor. Yeah.
Both films prove that with money and power, you can make people do whatever you want. So in The Godfather, 100% true because of the plot line, or all of the story with like the Godfathers. They have money, they have power, and they make people kill each other. They make people, do all kinds of crazy crap. Mm-hmm. Most of it morally reprehensible sins. They're all sins. They're big sinners here in this film. But the Love Guru definitely proves that because Mike Myers had a lot of money and power, and he made Ben Kingsley splash a mop full of pee on people and go stink mop
on a kid.
On a kid, yeah.
Yeah, on two kids. I can't believe. And Ben Kingsley is Marlon Brando. Mm-hmm. They're both the figureheads. There's a lot of, I think, the cast-wise, there's a lot of similarities.
Oh, sure, yeah. They were colleagues. These two films. Ben and Kingsley and Marlon Brando, I'm sure. I'm sure they hung out.
They probably did. They probably liked to party.
And then also, I guess in both films, characters want money, but really, they want glory.
Yes. It's about reputation.
It's about reputation, yeah.
That's great, Mike. I'm not going to lie. My list is already depleted.
That's fine. I only have a couple more. I kind of.
You said you had 30.
Well, I tied a bunch of them together.
That's true. You had a couple 4 hits where you just say a point and it'd be 4 things at once.
This podcast could be interminable. It could be so long if we.
Should we do a bit episode where we sit down like side by side? Obviously, there's a vaccine at this point, and COVID-19 is cured, and we have herd immunity.
Oh wow! Just imagine that world. Just imagine that world.
I know. I can't wait to watch a movie beside you.
I know. It's it's not really stressful because I'm just hanging out in my house, but it's also stressful just waking up knowing that you're not going to be able to just do all of the things you want to do. Which I guess is a place coming from a place of privilege, but still.
Most definitely. But it still sucks. Yeah. Frig. But we should do an episode where we like sit down and we meticulously take notes for every minute of the film, and we try to do our longest episode, like our most boring longest episode, just as a bit, just to spice it up for all of our fans.
Just to like a real punishing bit, a bit that tests the patience, but that's the joke.
But it's also punishing for us.
Yeah,
to have to do that.
I mean, sure, let's do it.
Great. Okay, yeah. What are your other points?
Okay, I saved the best for last. So both films really deal with characters who are kind of obsessed with catchphrases. So the Love Guru, Guru Pitka will say, "Into me I see." He'll say all of those weird little catchphrases, making fun of gurus.
Yes.
Very satirical. Ha ha ha. Same with The Godfather, because how many times do they say, "I'll make him an offer I can't refuse"? So many times.
Yeah, they say it.
And then there's probably a couple of other phrases that are just like, "This is the thing I say. It's my catchphrase. It helps people to see what I want." So that's one. Mm-hmm. Here's a real stretch. In The Love Guru, he says one of his phrases is he preaches like a 5-step self-help discipline called DRAMA. Stands for distraction, regression, adjustment, maturation, and action. Mm-hmm. With that, he's describing Michael Corleone's story arc. He gets distracted by like family politics. Yeah, he kind of goes from being better to it, and he kind of regresses back to the family after his dad like almost kind of dies. Then he adjusts to being in the crime world to the point where he has to hide a gun, then murder that guy at the pasta restaurant. Mm-hmm. Then he matures into the role of the proper godfather. Mm-hmm. And then he basically makes plans and takes action.
That's great. What order do you watch the movies in?
I saw The Love Guru second. I saw The Love Guru second.
Interesting. I did the opposite.
It was a dessert. It was a dessert for me.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely easier to watch in a weird way.
I think
it's half the length.
It's fun to watch. As funny as it is, and it's not very funny. Mm-hmm. It's colorful. Mike Myers is charming, even though his character is mean. There's just something kind of jolly about the whole thing. So that's that, I guess. So I guess I should have saved that last one for last because the other ones aren't as good as that.
More? That was a real home run.
That was a real home run. Here's a bunt for sure.
Yes.
Both films end in a church.
That's great.
Well, I mean, both take place in a church at one point because they go and visit the hockey player's mom. But here's the joke, because this is a joke. It ends in a church in The Godfather because he's, obviously being a godfather, watching the baby get baptized. Mm-hmm. In The Love Guru, it ends in a church in that it takes place in Toronto and they're in a hockey arena. Get it? Hockey is a church for Canadians. Tim Hortons.
It's a religion for Canadians. Yeah.
The Tim Hortons the donut is our wafer, and a double is the blood of Christ.
That's awesome. Yeah. God damn. Nice. Actually, I feel like that's a great one to end on. And I feel like you have more.
I don't have any more. I did have one more, which was Guy pees and then bad stuff happens because Luca Brasi pees. And then like a bunch of bad crap happens.
Right. And then Ben Kingsley pees and then two boys have to slap each other with pee mops.
Yeah. But also...
That's my favorite one.
There can also be...
Guy pees, then bad stuff happens. Turns out there's so much to talk about in The Love Guru. Not much in The Godfather, but The Love Guru, wowee, what a wealth of information.
One other note that I wrote down was that The Love Guru has a more cinematic... and I'm doing quotes with my fingers here, has a more cinematic aspect ratio than The Godfather.
Interesting.
It's more widescreen. It's like a wider, it was shot on a wider aspect ratio, which is so weird.
It like opens with the Morgan Freeman voiceover, which is really cinematic. And it's that crane shot that comes down. And then it shows Mike Myers doing a bit. Mm-hmm. So I think they tried to like endow it visually as a really cinematic movie. But then so much of the movie isn't cinematic. It's a lot of them just sitting and talking.
Yeah.
Without like interesting lighting or, without Gordon Willis making it work.
Yeah.
You know what?
What?
I would maybe guess that both films from a cinematography standpoint really play with the idea of stationary camera.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good way to end.
Cool. These were definitely, it was cool to watch these two movies because I've seen them both before, but not for a long time.
Yeah, same.
And I have a very vivid memory of each film, but watching it again, my impression was different. Like I loved Love Guru as a kid. I fucking loved it. And I hate it now. I wrote in my notes, I hate Mike Myers.
I mean, yeah, he had a lot of goodwill built up after Austin Powers. And it was truly a fall from grace. Yeah, and Shrek. So this was a fall from grace in terms of... there's also the Cat in the Hat was another movie he did.
Oh, that was after, wasn't it?
No, it was before this. It was 2005-ish.
Oh, okay. That movie bombed. It's bad, right?
It's bad. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so just basically after Austin Powers 3 came out in like 2001 or 2, he kind of just dwindled all of his goodwill until now. But whatever, he's fine. But he's doing okay.
He's doing like character bits. I think he's a good character actor. Like he is good in Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah.
For that one single scene, but that's like a really unconventional way to cast that movie.
Actually, the same could be said for Al Pacino. The same could be said for Marlon Brando. The same could be said for Francis Ford Coppola himself.
Yes, they all had like really intense
highs and then falls.
Premature climaxes in their career, if you will.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they came too quickly, and here they are trying to chug along.
Yeah. Wait, chug along? What do you mean? Your metaphor got really filthy.
Shit. Edit this out. This
is an NC-17 rated episode.
You can say anything on a podcast.
You truly can.
Yeah, which is scary. I have more where that comes from, Mike. But interesting. Although Al Pacino's really good in Hunters. I think you'll like Hunters. If you like seeing Nazis dying, you'll love Hunters.
Yeah, okay, I'm into it.
Yeah, it's like Inglourious Bastards, but more fun and intense and longer.
Inglourious Bastards was fun.
It's a great movie. I love it. I rewatched it right when the pandemic started and we all got hunkered down, and I really enjoyed it.
Hey, you know what? Let's change things up a bit. Let's do a little bit of From Justin to Kane Film Club, a new segment that I've created. So
cool.
We're just talking pandemic films. Bob, what you watching? What you watching?
Nice. A lot of rom-coms. So
Oh, really?
I'm
still doing that?
No, I'm over it now. I'm out of that phase. But yeah, I did rom-coms right out of the gate, like early Jennifer Lopez and 90s rom-coms like Notting Hill and stuff like that.
Yeah. What did you learn from the rom-coms?
I learned that I'm going to die alone.
Okay.
Just kidding. No, I didn't learn anything from them.
Oh, okay.
What have you been watching?
We watched The Night at the Roxbury.
Ooh, does it hold up?
It holds up way better than expected.
Yeah, I've been eyeing that up on Amazon.
Chris Kattan just fully carries that film.
Yes,
I would say. But the most recent thing I kind of watched was I watched Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon again. That movie's amazing.
Nice. Ang Lee, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But one of the more recent films I watched the entire 10-hour documentary about O.J. Simpson.
Oh, nice.
That was wild. Everybody should watch that.
Is it good?
It's amazing, yeah.
Yeah. I've been thinking about going down the documentary track.
Yeah, no, that was definitely, that's a good one to watch. I mean, in light of what's going on, I kind of was interested in watching it. Mm-hmm. And then I also watched the LA 92 on Netflix.
Cool.
Which is also extremely powerful. An amazing documentary just because of the footage that they have access to, which was also the same that could be said about the OJ documentary.
Right.
It's like, where did they get all this footage from? There's some wild stuff they have in this movie. So
yeah, it's amazing how they get footage. It's astonishing what they get their hands on. Documentaries are on a whole other level now. I feel like to get into documentaries at this point feels a bit intimidating, just because the quality and the amount of time you have to dedicate. To do something like Tiger King, God almighty, that would take you a decade of your life.
I know, that's weird. It's a weird choice to make.
I couldn't do that. I think at most I'd want to be on like a traveling food show.
Really? But it would be such a grind, I feel like.
It would, but I would love to work on a documentary that forced me to travel.
Okay.
Even though it's like work, it's like... I think there'd be something really cool about that, especially now in my life, kind of the way I'm living my life.
But what about something that's like Tiger King, where you don't know what the story is as you're making it?
No, I have no interest in doing that. I'd rather follow around a genius or something and do a show like A Chef's Table or Abstract. I'd like to work on something like that.
Okay.
Instead of just... Also, I wouldn't feel safe doing something like Tiger King. So many guns and...
Tigers?
Yeah, tigers and just people with really bizarre behavior. I just wouldn't feel safe,
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there because, I'm not working on a documentary right now.
I worked on a documentary TV show once and I was a camera guy for it. And we went up to this cabin in the middle of the Northwest Territories and there's a bear that kept tearing this cabin apart.
Right.
And the guy had to go back all the time to go basically fix it and look after it.
Right.
And so we went there. Bear wasn't there, but the bear had destroyed, there's a stove in the middle of the room with a pipe going up into the ceiling. And the guy was trying to fix the pipe that had kind of got bent by the bear, smashing it.
Yeah.
And it tipped over this sharp metal, pipe from a stove, and it missed me by I would say a good maybe half of a foot.
Really?
Yeah, it almost hit me in the face / arm. It could have just cut my arm in half, and now we would have been in the middle of nowhere.
That's terrible, Mike.
Traveling via, I think we traveled there via boat, but they mostly traveled by a plane, like a Beaver,
a seaplane,
like a seaplane. Yeah,
yeah.
Seaplane was the way to get around on this shoot. So. There wouldn't have been a hospital anywhere near us for a good couple 100 kilometers. So
well, what a great story, Mike.
Yeah, sure.
Says the guy that didn't work on it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it is a good story. I guess things like that are good stories, but you're also...
Safety first, for sure.
Safety first. That's the lesson we all have to learn here.
Exactly.
Safety first.
I forget where we were going with that. Oh, yeah. So you've been watching a lot of documentaries.
Watch OJ.
I will.
Everybody should watch it.
it.
It's book off 10 hours of your life. It'll feel like 5.
Cool.
That's
Are you
my
going to
review.
watch the Epstein documentary?
No. Maybe.
I think that might be my next documentary.
I don't know if that's like a legit documentary, because it seems weird that they have a Epstein documentary out already on Netflix.
Really?
Well, I don't know that they have all of the evidence about Epstein. Like what we need for a documentary, but we need a documentary to basically say Donald Trump did this, Bill Clinton did this, Matt Groening from The Simpsons did this. All of these like people, Alan Dershowitz, what did he do? We need a documentary that tells us who's a pedo and how are they a pedo.
Yeah.
You know?
Honestly, yeah.
We need that documentary. We don't need like Epstein he was a creepy guy. Like we know that. We want to know, did Donald Trump order his murder?
Right. I think it's on Epstein because he's just such a fascinating character.
Yeah. Sure.
Like he represents a really bizarre part of wealth and power. Yeah. And that's why people are talking about it,
Well, watch the Epstein documentary, then watch the OJ documentary. There is a character who is in both films.
Really?
There's an actor that the films share, and that is the lawyer Alan Dershowitz, who is not a real actor. He is actually just playing himself in both movies. In one case, he is defending OJ and making him get away with murder, literally. Yeah. And in the other movie, he's going to a pedophile island. So,
jeez Louise. What a guy. Documentaries.
This podcast took a extremely, extremely dark turn.
Well, I mean, the documentaries out right now are really uncovering a lot of pretty unsavory stuff. So, I mean, it's good to talk about.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I mean, it is good to talk about. Yeah. I do think that it is our responsibility as podcasters.
Unsolicited podcasters.
No, but just the fact that you're podcasting, such a superfluous, pointless thing to do. I mean, it's... The point is for me and you to have fun and hang out and talk about movies and be
totally
film fans together. But also just as a piece of media that you're putting out there as content creators, we have a responsibility to not ignore the evils of the world. If I can get on my soapbox about podcasting, I just made From Justin to Kane more serious than it needed to be.
Nice. Well, I think now's the time. I think now people are really wanting a full sea change.
Yeah.
They want a shift and a pivot, and that's exciting. And people have the time now to really contemplate this stuff and think about it, and that's cool. You know, people have the time to really think about this stuff, which is one major benefit of a global pandemic.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. Thanks, coronavirus. Thanks, COVID-19. Yeah. You're really letting us reflect.
Yeah. Heck, do we end the podcast?
Oh, well, we didn't end it yet, but let's do it. So that's the episode. That is From Justin to Kane, the episode where we talked about Love Guru and The Godfather. Tweet us From Justin to Kane with the number 2. Instagram us From Justin to Kane with the number 2 in place of the word 2. And Facebook us if you really want to.
Yeah, or email us.
Email us From Justin to Kane. All the words.
Go on our Tumblr.
Go on our Tumblr. Sure. Try and message us through there.
We still have our active Nexopia account, so if you wish to send us a message on that, we do check it every once in a while. We dial up an old computer and get that thing cooking, so feel free to talk to us on there.
Yeah, also send us a message on Neopets as well.
Yeah, and Webkins.
Yeah, and Webkins. Yeah, what is
we have a RuneScape avatar, which you can communicate with if you wish.
Yeah,
or the Penguin game on Miniclip, which is also an online game, I believe.
Club Penguin.
Club Penguin, yeah. I love that you know that, Mike. We have a penguin avatar named From Justin to Kane, number 2.
Yeah, I feel like we've done this bit before, but it's a good bit.
But I think different platforms is funny.
MySpace. Remember MySpace?
That never was relevant to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thanks for listening to the cast, and hope everybody has a safe week.
Yeah, stay safe, stay happy, and try to, just keep on hanging in.
Keep on hanging in. All right. Bye.
All right, bye.